Welcome back. Hopefully you're getting the hang of starting to get your head around the 3-point perspective idea and also how to draw a basic cube. This time we're going to do exactly the same thing because it's good for practice. We're going to place a little dot in the middle and we're going to start off and we're going to draw step 1, which is our Y, like so. Now what we're going to try and do here is take a just simple thing as a cube and turn it into something interesting. So remember, step 1 is our Y, step 2 is our V, so we're going to decide our height of our cube and those lines drift off together. We're then going to do step 3, which is the book cover step. We're going to start to drift these guys down and closer in. We're then going to do step 4, which is boxing in the top, where we draw our lines across. And then we're going to do step 5, where we try and make it look roughly like a cube of ice. So we draw in those back lines, and you can notice I'm starting to do those back lines nice and faint, whereas I spent a bit more time doing the front lines. So we've got a basic cube. What kind of things can we turn it into? Well, one of the things you might want to turn it into is what I'm going to be doing, which is turning it into a dice. You also might perhaps want to turn it into a Rubik's Cube. You could turn it into anything really that roughly resembles a square. This is where I want you guys to use your imagination. What you can notice is I'm starting to do the firmed in line, so taking my time trying to draw some nice solid lines, but I'm only drawing them over the top of the faces that I can see. So I've only got 2 more to go. And you'll see here that that's it. I don't firm in those back lines because that's all I end up seeing. So what could I do then to make it look a bit more realistic as a dice? Well, we've got to do our shading, which we can do, but we can also start adding the numbers. So on a dice, you know that the 2 sides add up to 7. So for instance, I might choose this side because it's nice and large, and I'm going to start drawing some rough circle shapes on the side. So I'm going to place some circles over here, and you can notice that I'm also can just make them bigger just using the technique that I'm using here. Just by scribbling from the center, I can enlarge them so that they fill up the space nicely. So I'm going to do 5 on this side, which means 2 might be on the other side. On this one on the top, I might just do the number 1, and then over here I might just have the number 3. And you'll notice here as well that I'm putting my circles on an angle so they actually look like they're on the side. So I'm not drawing them, I'm drawing them and they've got a bit of an angle to them. You'll see this when we actually discuss our cylinder, how we get it to look like it's actually on there. So you can see I've just very simply done a dice, spent a bit of time. Now with this one, what we could do with our rendering is just do some different techniques. So on the top I'm going to go nice and light. I then am also going to go probably about medium density on one of the sides, and then I'm going to go quite heavy on the other one. And hopefully that'll show just how you have different rendering and different shading and different patterns as well. So I might also go back and forth on this one just to help colour it in. And you can see that that's slightly heavier. Then on this side we really get our marker or our pencil and go reasonably heavy so that we can show, my pencil's running out a bit, that we can show that it's nice and heavy on that side because it's the one that's probably furthest away from the light source as well. So hopefully you can see there that we've got a lighter one, a medium one and a bit of a heavier density just to add to the 3Dness. Now you remember the last step that we do is we grab our whiteboard marker and we place it around the outside, but we only want to put whiteboard marker around the edges. So it's very important we don't go over our firmed in lines, just if someone was asking us to cut it out. So you can see there and there, just brings the viewer's eye right in, and it shows exactly what our design product is or sketch that we're doing. And then we're just going to do our basic cube shadow, which is starting dark, getting a bit lighter, and trying to keep that same line. as we're moving out. So that's very simply how we can take something as simple as the cube and we can turn it into something interesting. You might have some other ideas, perhaps how you're going to take the cube and turn it into something interesting as well. So once you've done that, you can then move on to the tutorial, which is going to be looking at the cylinder, and you guys can move on to that.